Thank you for doing this, first of all.
Happy to. I would say I waited 3 or 4 months. I was working with a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I was beginning to have back problems that were not going away, in spite of being very careful. And it really got to the point where I was not sleeping. I could not sit. It was uncomfortable to stand. It was sort of that classic moment where you just said, it's hurting all the time, and I have to really do something proactive rather than hoping it would just get better on its own. For me, I don't think it was a hard decision. I'd had previous events in my life where I went through physical therapy, and I was always a willing participant. It was really just sort of making that commitment to being proactive and feeling like there's always a little bit of fear, I think, that you have, that the physical therapy won't work, that you'll be told the things you never want to hear, which is things like live with it, or it will be chronic and there's not much we can do. And I think those are the barriers, that I think I certainly had, but again, through advice of trainers, doctors, other people, they said, okay, it's time for you to really find specialized help. It got to the point where the back problems were really debilitating. I mean, I was not able to get in and out of a car easily. I was also about to become a grandparent, or just become a grandparent, and very much wanted to be able to move around and play with my grandson. And those are very motivating factors when you realize you literally can't bend over, you can't pick things up, you can't move in directions that you want to move in. That was certainly a very motivating factor to really be proactive and find a specialist. Well, I was working with a trainer who knew a lot about these kinds of things, and we were doing a lot of the more traditional things, stretching exercises, a lot of stretching, which seems to be a thing, that depending on who you go to as a specialist, some people strongly endorse it, other people feel that stretching is not the right thing. I was really, I was doing a very classic 21st century thing, was relying on the internet to try and find solutions to my problems. And I think we do that at our peril. It made an enormous impact. One of the things that I found coming to you and your group is that previous experiences I had with physical therapy were largely one-sided affairs, where you would go for an hour's worth of therapy, which was basically involved surrendering your body to someone who would just simply manipulate you and move you, and that was sort of the physical therapy experience. You came with a very different recommendation, which was a much more holistic approach. And what I learned was that being an active participant helps you develop tools of your own that really enable you to help yourself. And for me, that was a very important aspect of what I learned. Rather than joy, I would prefer to talk about what I found most productive and useful.
I'll take it.
And that really was learning how to relax and really get in touch with your body, how to move your body selectively in terms of muscle groups. It's something that we don't learn as part of our day-to-day routine. And breathing, which is something that I've always had issues with, oddly enough. Learning how to really use breath control and breathing exercises to, in a therapeutic way. I think you get to the point, if you have any kind of physical problem, where you realize it's degrading your life. It's prohibiting you from doing things that you really want to do. And I think those are the things that really help make you reach a moment where you say, I want to do this and I can't do this. And so I need to seek the right kind of help. But part of it also has to do with attitude. You need to be ready, I think, to embark on a physical therapy regimen that your group offers. As I said, I've been through the experience of just going for a session where they basically push, pull, twist, turn, and you're a passive participant in the process. I think what sets you apart, and for me it was a very important critical thing, is that it's interactive, it's a two-way street, it's a collective experience, and you really have to be prepared to work hard and learn the tools that you use, not just during the session, but you really use outside of the session. And once you embrace that, that's really when you make progress. I have talked about Kamiyama PT with a lot of family members and friends, and recommended you, as long as, and I think there's an important condition, which is that you need to be willing to open your eyes and your mind and your heart to a slightly different approach that is not just simply being a passive, it being a passive experience. You need to really approach these kinds of problems and this kind of process as something that you will be a very active participant in. And that's really what helps you make progress and heal.
I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That was awesome.
He's absolutely terrible. Don't come here. He's been holding me prisoner in this room for 8 months.